Six Nation squads are all in. It has been finalized. The final three teams, Ireland, Scotland, and France, the squads have been named. And excitement is kicking in. It is nearly there, and we know who is going to be involved. Now, these are the three teams I think are going to be the top three teams in the competition. As a neutral supporter, I don't care which team wins. At the end of the day, I think the best team should win. And obviously the best team on the day should win as well. So in reality, as a neutral supporter, we all hope that each team can beat each other. You know, how cool would it be if Scotland can beat Ireland and Ireland can beat France and France, beat Scotland? It will just create such a great buzz. But anyway, this I think will be, in my opinion, the biggest Six Nations tournament in history. With the amount of buzz going around this tournament, the amount of buzz going around, I guess, European rugby at the moment. With URC, it's really drawn in to South African support. And then every single country here in the Southern Hemisphere. I grew up in South Africa. I lived in New Zealand for 11 years and then also now living in Australia for nearly 10 years. So I've been around the old Tri-Nations, as we used to call it here in the Southern Hemisphere. And we all are watching these teams here in the Northern Hemisphere with keen eyes because we know they are serious. We know they're a challenge. We know Ireland is world number one. We know France can beat any single team that they kind of set their eyes on, just beating the All Blacks recently as well. And it really shows that, the world's paying attention, especially World Rugby, especially with the World Cup looming. And the next Autumn Nation series, it's going to be, people keep saying that rugby is kind of dying here in the Southern Hemisphere, where I'm total on the opposite spectrum. I just finished rugby training, just before, just got home, obviously after going back to the club room and having one or two beers, as you do after a Thursday training. It's preseason training here because it's still summer. But we're even talking about the Six Nations. We're talking about the Super Rugby. We're talking about rugby in general here in Australia. And yeah, I think there's just such a buzz coming along, especially with the British and Irish Lions tour coming, and then also the Six Nations happening, and also the World Cup being held here in Australia. So let's get into this video. We'll run over the squads, and we shall see who will win the Six Nations. Like I said, I am super excited. I'm going to watch every single game. This will be the first time ever that I've actually watched every single, Six Nations game, purely because of the time difference. I'll definitely wake up early in the mornings, watch one or two live, and also watch one on replay. Because unfortunately, I do still have a full-time Monday to Friday job. So, I can't just quit out on sleep just because I want to watch every single game. But let's get into it. So for the forwards for Ireland, now before we do, I do forget to always say this. If you do enjoy the content that I do make, also if you do enjoy talking about rugby, just listening to rugby news, anything about rugby, hit that subscribe button below the video. It helps the channel, helps me create more content, put more time into it. Like the videos that you do like, it helps with the algorithm. And always do comment down below as well. I don't care if you got, your own opinion on rugby. We can all share our opinions here. And that's why we call it a rugby opinion, because we're all different. We all see rugby in a different way. We all grew up with a different style of rugby. There's no one person here that thinks exactly the same. So pop it down below if you disagree, if you agree, whatever you might do, pop it down below and we'll be able to kind of talk about it and have a good rugby conversation, as we always do. Now let's get into it. So this is the Irish squad, okay? As we can see here, so in the forwards, you got Ryan Baird, Finlay Bealham, Tadhg Beirne, Jack Boyle, Thomas Clarkson, Jack Conan, Caelan Doris, who is the Capitano, who's, great player. Tadhg Furlong. I keep forgetting how to say. Is it Cian? Is it Cian Healy? Please let me know below if you are from Ireland, if I said it right. Ian Henderson, Rob Herring, Cormac Izutku, Ronan Kelleher, Gus McCarthy, Joe McCarthy, Peter O'Mahony, Andrew Porter, yet again, Cian Prendergast, James Ryan, Dan Sheehan, and Josh Thunder Fleer. And then we got on the backs, Bundy Aki, Cullen Blade, Jack Crowley, Kieran Frawley, Jamison Gibson Park, Mac Hansen, Robbie Henshaw, Hugo Keenan, James Lowe, Connor Murray. Man, I can't stop praising this dude. He is just such a veteran, such a great player. I mean, he's already played on a couple British and Irish Lions tours. I really hope he gets picked for this team because I think he'll just bring experience. The dude is just class. Playing for Munster still in the Champions Cup, had a great game. Them sneaking in that win. He's definitely a player that I look to, growing up watching later on in my life, I guess. But you can really respect for someone who's stuck along, and he's always been a great sport, always been a part of the game. Just a great player. Calvin Nash, Jimmy O'Brien, Jamie Osborne, Sam Prendergast, Gary Ringrose. I mean, wow. Just such a deep depth squad. And I think it all comes down to it'll be really just one game where I think it'll be won or lost, to be honest. Development players, Hugh Codney, Cathal Ford, James McNabbie, and Ben Murphy. So just absolute solid squad. I mean, any rugby coach would be like, yeah, A+. That's a great squad. Any of them could be picked and anyone could fill in pretty easily. Now, the Scottish squad, on the other end, we got Ewan Ashman from Edinburgh, Josh Bayless Bath, Jamie Barty Glasgow, Gregor Brown, Dave Cherry, Luke Crosby, Scott Cummings, Rory Darge is the vice captain, Jack Dempsey, Matt Fagerson, Xander Fagerson, Grant Gilchrist, Johnny Gray. I mean, Xander, what a great name. What a great name. Maybe if it was just an X at the start, it'll be just a perfect name. Grant Gilchrist, Johnny Gray back into the team. Obviously Johnny Gray taking a break away from the game to concentrate on Bordeaux, concentrate on the top 14, and now back in Scottish colours. And yeah, he brings a lot of experience. Patrick Harrison, Will Hurd, Jack Mann, Darcy Ray, Dylan Richardson, Jamie Ritchie, Piers Kuman, Rory Sutherland, and Marshall Sykes to finish off the forwards. I mean, 22 forwards right there. Fergus Burke, Matt Curry, Jamie Dobie, Darcy Graham, man, just such a great try scorer. George Horn, Rory Hutchinson, Hugh Jones, who's really stood up. Tom Jordan, Blair Kinghorn, who, yeah, look, I made a video on who I think will be picked, obviously, for the British and Irish Lions, and I can definitely say that I got that one wrong. Blair Kinghorn should be in there, and 100% agree with everyone who pointed that out. Stafford McDowell, Finn Russell, Vice Capitano, Kyle Rowe, Sione Tuipulotu as the Capitano for Scotland, Duan van der Merwe, and Ben White, who is also really, really climbing up the list as a great, great player. Very strong squad. Very strong squad. They can upset anyone. They really can. At the end of the day, I'm still predicting Scotland to come third. I think as a neutral supporter, anyone would be happy if Ireland did win Scotland won, because I don't think they've ever done it, right? So I'd really be happy if they won it. But at the end of the day, I did not predict them to win. So a 42-person squad here for France for the boys in blue. So it's got Esteban Abadi, Dorian. Okay, very much, if you're from France, I'm very sorry about the pronunciation on some of these names, but I'll try my best, right? I'll try my best. Dorian Algeri, Gregory Aldrit, Ueni Antonio, Hugo Oradu, Cyril Bai, Georgie Beria, Paul Bourdain, Joshua Brennan, George Colomb, Francois Cros, Thibaut Flament, Marco Gazzotti, Jean-Baptiste Gros, Matthias Halagu, Oscar Jegu, Anthony Geelong, Maxime Lamotte, Julian Marchand, Piatto Malvaco. Man, Malvaca, like I said, I think he is a top 3 hooker in the world right now, currently. The only players I think, for me personally, is ahead of him is Cody Taylor from the All Blacks and Crusaders. And then, obviously, Malcolm Marx as well, the dude, just absolute beast. And, I mean, Malvaca's still at the early stage of his career for France, so there's no reason why he can't become one of the best hookers in French history, and even possibly one of the best hookers in world rugby history as well. He definitely has the size, the athleticism, this try scoring ability, the passing. He's a full specimen, right? Then we got Emmanuel Miafu, Danny Priso, Rabah Slimani, Romain Taufi Fenua. You know, a lot of really French sounding names in there, of course, right? Tongue in cheek right there. Don't get too annoyed there, French players. Letoy Quartz. So you got Theo Atisobre, Pierre-Louis Barassi, Leo Barret, Louis Biarre, Nicolas Diaporte, Gaël Drian, Antoine Dupont, Antoine Frisk, Emilien Gaileton, Mathieu Jalibert, Nolan Le Garec, Maxime Lutku, Yoram Miafana, Noah Nene, Romain Ntamak, who's, they missed him in the World Cup, right? And Ntamak, with him back, this team is just freaking, there's not really a weak spot for the French, in my opinion. Damien Penot, he's back as well. Thomas Ramos, Gabin Villiers. Gabin Villiers has also played really, really good on the wing. I mean, Biarre, he's just so many good players. Man, like, even though, you know, you have that kind of rivalry with the French team after the Rugby World Cup, being a Springbok supporter myself, I mean, you cannot take anything away from them. They are just class, a really, really deep squad, which they've built, right? They've built this depth. The Irish have built their depth just through hard grit and also letting players have a go. These were the teams who really understood you don't always have to send your top team, right? And then Russie also took that on. Russie Erasmus took that on and really, I mean, he really pushed it out even more. He went, look, I am going to, I mean, what was it, 52 players, I think it was played. It's like 50, 52, something around there. Excuse me if I'm one or two off. But yeah, playing 50 players in one calendar year for an international team is freaking insane. Absolutely insane. So you can also see it with other sports too. You look at, you know, the NBA, like basketball. More and more teams are kind of resting their superstars and letting the younger players come in and play, get experience, and they can fit in. And it's really hard now to be able to pick who's going to win a game because some of these reserve players have got a lot of experience and they're actually stepping up. And that's the same thing correlating into the rugby as well. So, man, this is the squad. I already picked France to win the Six Nations before looking at the squad. And now looking at the squad, yeah, I'm still sticking with that. So they're still going to be my pick. You know, I might even be cheeky and put some money on them as well because I think they're very good value for money. The only, you know, question here is playing Ireland in Ireland. That is the big question right there because, you know, if they're playing in France, I'll be 100% sure they're probably going to beat Ireland. But playing in Ireland, it's a bit of a tough one there. And you still can't write Scotland off. So very excited, very excited. I think there's even 4 teams who can really win it, to be honest. You know, obviously Italy and Wales, unfortunately, are not going to be able to get in the top 3, in my opinion. But, you know, even England, they have done in the past where people write them off and they somehow win a few games. So this is just going to be a great one. I think it's going to be really, in retrospect, it's going to be the 4 nations, in my opinion, this year. Some people are saying that France is not going to own Wales. Yeah, at the end of the day, I think that first game in France are just going to absolutely destroy Wales, for sure. No question about it. But I'll end it on that. Let me know what you think. What do you think about these squads? Who do you think missed out? Who do you think should have been in there? What do you think about the Irish squad? What do you think about the Scottish squad? What do you think about the French squad? Let me know below in the comments. We'll be able to get back to each other. We can chat back and forth about the rugby. And let me know who you think is going to win the Six Nations as well. I'd really love to hear it. But thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Hit that subscribe button if you want to support the channel. Like the video if you do enjoy the content as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.